thinking about old times. I've waited so long for this to be over.
Fourth time together.
So this is a brand new 2018 Porsche Cayenne. So before we start this video, I'm just quickly going to touch up on some facts about this car. So the car's overall length compared to the previous version of the Cayenne has increased with 63 millimeters, and the roof came down with 9 millimeters. So if we then come around to the front, you'll notice that with the increased use of horizontal lines in the front, combined with the MK3 model being 9 millimeters lower, really gives the car an overall wider and better stance. And what'll not surprise many of you is that this MK3 model is on the same wheelbase as the previous MK2 model. So if we then take a close look at the boot space, you just press this button and the trunk automatically opens. And what you'll not immediately notice, the car actually has some extra boot space because the car's overall length has increased with 63 millimeters. And actually with the 5-seat mode, this car has 770 liters of boot space. So to close the boot, you just press this button and voila. So this specific model is the Cayenne S, and you get these lovely 4 exhaust tips. So this specific car actually has some really wide tires on the rear. These are 315 millimeters, which is actually insane on this kind of car. So if you then take a closer look at the inside, you just unlock the car. So here on the side steps you have a lovely Cayenne S logo. So this car is finished with the contrast stitching, which gives the car an overall more luxurious feel, in my opinion. It also has quite a unique design on the interior trims, which is not bad, to be honest. And these seats actually hug you really nice. So of course then you have the lovely steering wheel from Porsche, and because this car is fitted with the Sport Chrono package, which gives you this little guy and this, which is a bit more important because this is your drive mode selector. So the car will start up in drive mode, which is like the soft mode, and then you can bump it up to sport, which will give you a nicer exhaust tone, and the gear shifts will be a little quicker, and you'll also get a faster throttle response. And then you have Sport Plus, which is like the hardcore mode, but not in the Cayenne, of course, but you know, it'll give you a really fast throttle response, and the suspension will also get a bit stiffened up. Last but not least, we have the individual mode, which is honestly my favorite mode because you can configure whatever you want. So if you want the driving comforts of drive and you want the speed of sport, or maybe the sound of Sport Plus, or maybe the stiffness of Sport Plus, you can configure that with individual. And then we have this little guy. So if you press this button, that'll basically spool the turbos up, so if you're 20 seconds long, all the power that the car is capable of, which is pretty neat to have that in your Cayenne. So if we switch it on, the steering wheel will automatically lower, and then you'll see that the beautiful controls come up. Okay, so this car actually has a mind-blowing GPS setup. So, oh, let's turn that off. So you can basically do kind of everything on this display. So you can control the settings of your car, you can put some apps. This car also has Apple CarPlay, I think, but I'm not sure. And although this is a touchscreen Navi, you can still control it with these buttons if you want to. So like in every Porsche, here you have in the middle your rev counter, here you have your speedometer, which in this car now is all digital, just like the mid-console, which is quite a change, to be honest. You kind of feel like more modernish in this car. And here you just have some more displays with information about the car. And what is also really handy is the indicator for the speed limit. So instead of having a row of buttons, now you have this all in a digital mid-console. So here you can control the stiffness of the suspension, which is Porsche dynamic suspension, of course. And here you have your hazards. So this car also has a lovely panoramic roof, which is really nice in a SUV, I think. Here you just have some buttons to control this screen right here, and of course the lovely pedals that come with the PDK gearbox. Of course the gear lever is in the exact same design as in the Panamera. So here you have your electronic handbrake and a nice little Cayenne logo. And here you have a little storage to store some coins or whatever. And then here you have your mid-console storage, which is not all too big, but here you have 2 USB plugs, which is always handy. And a little storage right here, and also a place to wirelessly charge your phone, I think. So you have 2 cup holders and a cigarette lighter. So the 2 air vents that normally were inside the Navi in the MK2 Cayenne are now located right here, which gives the interior an overall cleaner look, I think. But these 2 ugly things are still on the right and left side in the car, so yeah. So you just have a little glove box to store the documents of the car, of course. And then here you have your wing mirror controls, and then here you have your window controls to, of course, control all the windows. So what is actually a pretty neat and handy thing to have in this car is this little thing that pops up if you don't want all the light to come into the car. So here you of course have your light controls, and here you have the controls to control your memory seats, and of course the buttons to lock and unlock the car. And what is also pretty handy is a button to open the trunk. And you can also close it back up. So these are the 18-way seats from Porsche, and you have a little lumbar support, which is always nice to have in this kind of car. And you can basically like control everything of the seat. You can really configure it in which position you want the seat to be. So in this car we also have some little Porsche floor mats, and the brake and the throttle pedals are actually finished in quite a nice material, to be honest, and they also feel really solid. So if we then quickly hop into the back of the car, we'll check out the space that you have in the back of this car. So what is really handy is in this specific car is that you have 2 USB chargers, and of course a cigarette lighter, a little storage to put some things, and also 2 air conditioning vents. Like, these seats look absolutely amazing from the back. And to be honest, my most favorite thing about the MK3 Cayenne are the newly designed wing mirrors. I absolutely love them. So like you're used to in the Cayenne, here you have some really solid armrests, which you actually also have in the front. And this car is also finished with the lovely Bose surround system. And again here the controls to control this window. This car's headliner is also finished in a black color, which is really nice. And what I think is quite confusing is that on the side steps in the front you have Cayenne S, and right here you only have Cayenne. So if we close this back up, I'll give you some quick thoughts about the exterior of the car. So the rear is actually a whole new design for the MK3 Cayenne, and you of course have the blinkers on the side of the side mirrors. And if you can see, there's also a lovely Porsche logo on the brake calipers. And these rims, I'm not a big fan of them, but they look good on the car. This car is also finished with the black exterior accents, which gives the car a more stealth look, which is really cool. So the exterior color on this car is jet black. I really love the blinkers on the MK3 model. They are like really thin but really remarkable. The car's rear windows are also tinted in this car, so this car also sits a little lower to the ground, and you'll get a standard the 4-point day driving lights in this Cayenne, which is really nice. And then right here you have some lovely air intakes on the front, which is a better design over the MK2 model, I think. The only downsides to this car are all the plastic accents, I think, but you don't really notice it from a far distance, so it's not really a big problem. So we'll quickly start the car up. So you press the brake, turn this little key, which is actually standard, that is a fixed key in the Cayenne right now. And then you have the lovely petrol engine that kicks in. So we'll just give it a little blip. So I'm going to round this review up right here, and I'd like to thank Porsche Centre Mechelen for providing me with this car, and I'll see you guys in the next one.